greetings. Mark coming to you from Baker's Green Acres. Baker's White Acres today, but this is a follow-up on my data collection concerning winter grazing. So here it is, December 14th, 15th, something like that. We've got a foot of snow on the ground, been here since last Saturday, and I split the herd into the milking animals, and then these ones are the either not being milked yet or going to be beef animals. And they're coming over because they think I got something for them. But this is kind of a deal where I read a book about saying goodbye to the hay habit, all right, and the whole hay culture and everything. And then what happened was, in the book, the guy, the north. But then I found places where I've seen cattle, and my own cattle that are out. They do this. They find plenty to eat. I mean, there's a lot sticking up, and it's a lot of stuff that, like in this particular area right here, I can't get in here and mow this because I could never turn around there. Plus, it's wet. But they're able to push down through the snow, and they're finding things to eat. Now, I'm over here now, so they think they're going to get a freebie or something. But for a couple of days, all right, my data got skewed. It got skewed, and this is what happened. The cows had to come up to the barn to be inseminated, the ones that I wanted inseminated, and just 3 of them. And when I did that, the whole bunch of them came, and if they were going to wait around, they were going to need something to eat. And I didn't want to start feeding them hay yet. I want to keep my hay for when it's cold and snowy. Or if I can, cut a lot less hay and do more grazing, a lot more grazing, because there's a lot of forage out here that I can't cut. You know, it's mixed in with trees, or it's on wet ground, stuff like that. Some of this stuff is so wet they didn't even want to go on it, but now that it's frozen up, they can go out there. And they didn't like this brown grass that sticks up. It's Reed's canary grass is what they didn't like it, but they kind of like it now. And they've been down here for 2 days now. Prior to these 2 days, though, they stood in the lane and mooed at me, like, let us in to the hay bales, let us in. And when I didn't, they finally figured, okay, we better go find our own. And they've been down here. They stay down here at night, and I'm watching them. For a cow to get a little on the ribby side is not a huge problem. It's not a huge problem. If it goes too far, I mean, eventually they're going to come up to the barn anyway. Like late January, I got enough hay to make it to spring, and I don't want to have an abundance of hay when we come to spring. So I want it to get eaten and utilized that way. I'm going to put a glove on. It's like 20 degrees, and with my hand on this loader, it's cold. But finally, they did come down and they started eating. And once they've started here, there are other areas in the woods where there's way more stuff. So they're on it now, and I think they'll stay on it. They know if they go back up to the barn, nobody's going to let them in. And, you know, I figure to let them stay down here as long, you know, keep monitoring them every day or two, as long as they, like now they're quiet, and I'm seeing that they're eating. Look at her, she just sucked down a big mouthful of stuff. It's all brown, but hay is not the greatest stuff either. Look, they are eating. They're pushing down through the snow. Here, watch this. Everybody's got stuff in their mouth. And these are milk cows. They're not supposed to know how to do this. That right there is Holstein. And then behind her is Rose, and she's a Jersey. I got a couple of little Herefords in here, the black one and that red one over there. Of course, they're made for this type of stuff. But if they were really in a bad way, they would be voicing their opinion right now, and they're not. So there's a lot of stuff out here. Hey, eating milkweeds, huh? Why not? Got to fill that stomach. So there's a ton of forage out here for them to have. And so far, I like what I'm seeing. It's kind of working the way I thought it might. They have water here. See, there's a little canal right there. And I haven't even let them really out on the hayfield. It's kind of interesting how when it's warmer out, they want to be on the grass where we cut the hay. And the grass will be like a foot tall, and that's what they want. But now they're going after the brown stuff that's sticking up. And I think they're designed that way. I really think that's what's supposed to happen, because I've noticed that before. And they're perfectly happy doing this. So what this could mean is we cut less hay and open up more to grazing. So instead of cutting the hay and bringing it to the cows, I'm just gonna bring the cows to the hay. And where this works out for the small time guy, the homesteader or the small farmer, a lot of times you have a smaller property. Let's say you have 35 acres of property. Well, it's not really enough to justify hay cutting equipment and everything that goes into that. You would be better off grazing it and then buying hay. You're still going to come out ahead. You know, use dollars as sort of like a scorecard. Now, there's going to be, you know, extenuating circumstances where, well, Grandpa left me this in his will, and you know, I only have 35. Well, in that case, if it's all paid for and all that stuff, well, yeah, go ahead. But you can buy an awful lot of hay with the equipment that you'd use to cut the hay. Now, I have probably somewhere around 55 acres here that I cut. And so for me, I'm right on the edge of, should I buy hay or cut hay? Well, with the hay equipment that I have about $5,000 invested in that. I've had it for 10 years. Yeah, it probably worked out. I got there faster getting the hay equipment paid for than I would have if I was just strictly grazing and then buying hay for the winter. Probably. I'm probably there. You know, the number of cows, and the number of cows that I've had has fluctuated because I've changed my mind. Well, I'm going to do this. Well, I'm going to do this. Well, I'm going to do this. But I'm thinking that I'm at a place right now where I've finally reached a balance. I've got to see enough things to where I like this. I like being able to just have a mix of milk cows and then their calves as beef. And then when I feel like it or something good comes along, I pick up a beef calf, and just raise it for us for the freezer, or, you know, for friends and stuff that need beef. So far, what I would conclude is you can graze your cattle a lot longer than we thought. All right. This is not done around here where I live. This is all dairy country. All the cows, if you drive around here and you try to shoot cows, you won't see any to shoot. They're all inside buildings. And so, you know, it's not like this. They're not outside like mine are. And so they don't delve into this technology. And so nobody really knows how to do this. Like even a lot around here locally, it's hard to buy fence material because people don't build fences anymore around here. So the stores don't carry that. You have to go a little ways to get it. And a lot of times you have to order it actually to come in. Just regular fences like this, barbed wire and field fence. It's not always just on the shelf. But I think with the advent of small farming making a resurgence, coming back. A lot of these things will be looked at again. I talked to a guy this morning and he said, no, basically what I want to do is I want to end run all these institutions that have said, you can't come in my building unless you got a face mask on. He said that for me was too much. I don't want to do that. So I don't want to give them my business because they treated me that way. They didn't have to, they didn't have to. It was all BS. But, so he's going to end run them and get his farm going again and start raising his own food. And I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing because, if they will do that, so you can't come in here to buy the food that you need to feed your children unless you put a dust mask over your face, which is stupid, right? Or a bandana. It's stupid. It's not going to do anything. But unless you do that, you can't come in here and get food. Well, what's to keep them from saying, put steel toes on before you come in here? Or, whatever. Have a record of your vaccinations to come in here. Have a passport to come in here that you have to pay $20 a year to maintain. Hell with that. They can go to hell. We don't, our food is pretty essential, and if we start letting them do that, where's that going to end? That's the question. Where do things end? Well, it ends right here for me. I'm not going to give them my business. I'm not going in any institutions that say I got to cover my face up or my wife has to cover her face up. Hell with that. Okay, that's it. I know I got off the beaten path there about as far as grazing, but it all works together. Sayonara.